Welcome to our presentation on occupation versus vocation, which hopefully will help you find your own calling. I'll take you step by step through the process, and hopefully you'll move, you'll add your calling or shift into operating from your calling. And so we are trying to differentiate here occupation for vocation or calling. So while occupation has more to do with earning money, paying the rent, or satisfying one's ego or pride, vocation or calling are tied to one's sense of meaning, life purpose, inborn gifts and talents, and that give you joy and meaning. So as people age and mature, the search for meaning for life and meaningful one's calling become much more important. So you may be a waiter as an occupation, but you'll be a musician as your calling. You may go to meditate in retreats or a travel guide in exotic places, but as your occupation, you'll be a substitute middle school teacher. So the search for one's calling or vocation invite you to look at 4 areas in your lives that I'll outline, and later on you'll have even a way to put it. We'll give you a Word document that you can enter it in. What are your born gifts and talents? 2, what give you joy, pleasure, and satisfaction? 3, what areas you are disciplined? 4, your assessment and what the world need more or less. So here are the following steps that hopefully you'll take, and I'll guide you through the search for your calling. The first one is a set that you'll quest for your calling by identifying and constitute for your vocation, your gift, joy, discipline, worldly community needs. The second one will have a set for you to evaluate your current situation and brainstorm about what changes you need to make in order to have your calling in place. Remember, very, very important, there are not right or wrong answer. While it is good to be realistic about your assessment about yourself, this is still completely subjective inquiry, geared to clarify your perception and views and hopefully provide direction in to live a more meaningful lives. So first set, we'll call it 1A, first section in the first set, is this set explores the most pertinent question in regard to calling. What are you very good at? I want you to identify your gifts, your talents, your ability at which you excel. This may be inborn gifts or ability acquired during your life. For example, if I use my example, when I grew up, we need to report every night about a good deed for the day. And later on, we needed to report at dinner time about the meaningful deed of the day. So I got it in my blood, whether I liked it or not. This was part of dinner. And 1B will be the opposite, that what you are not good at, what you don't excel, and what's not your gift, your born gift. For me, I'm horrible with technology. I'm horrible with computer. I don't follow 1, 2, 3 protocols. So I'm not good in grammar and stuff like that. So I know exactly what I'm not good at. Number 2. So the first one, 2A, will be what kind of task or activity give you joy, delight, or pleasure? What do you like to do? It's a related question to what you would do if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, the health, the love you need. What would you do then? For me personally, as an example here, will be I enjoy being creative, critical thinking, separate good rules from bad rules. Just because there are rules, that doesn't give me necessarily the insight to follow them. I like to help people. I am okay not being popular, but pursue justice or pursue what I think can create a better world. I love traveling, climbing, motorcycle, all around the world, deep sea diving, and being an anthropologist. The second part of the second aspect is what kind of tasks and activities deplete you or bore you or you hate to do. And for me to be dealing with complex technology, as I mentioned before, repetitious anything, gossip, small talk, shallow conversation, editing text. This kind of things that depletes me, irritates me, doesn't bring the best in me. Number 3, in which area you are very disciplined. So we talked 1 and 2, and now that's 3. What you are disciplined, what type of activities you are consistent, you are methodical, you do not procrastinate. For me, number 3A will be critical thinking, what I believe in doing good. Not everybody agree with me. The anthropologists that I mentioned, observe different cultures with curiosity, without judgment. These are the things that I'm very, very disciplined. On the opposite side of number 3, what activity, I'm asking you, you regularly avoid, delay, procrastinate. It should be easy for you to know, what do you avoid? Avoid doing, avoid preoccupying yourself. In what areas you are not disciplined? For me, as I mentioned earlier, editing, political correctness, technology, this is the things that I avoid, I don't touch if I could help it. The last section, 4A, will be what's in your opinion does the world, the region, the state, your community need more? So what kind of contribution needed by the world, needed by your community, to children, to animals, to plants at this time? For me, as an example, I think that the world needs more empathy, the world needs more compassion. We need to help the poor. We need to help the disadvantaged, and definitely much more justice. The opposite of that, 4B, will be what is your opinion the world needs less of these days? For me, less greed, less military and medical and corporate control, less money influence. You'll have a link at the bottom that will give you actually a worksheet that you can put on a Word document and answer this question. I do it every 5 years, every 7 years, and it kind of reorients me. The second set is to take some time to figure out how you can make the change so you spend more time and energy at 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, and as little time at the lower range 1B, 2B, 3B, and 4B. Sometimes a medical, existential, or spiritual crisis can forcibly invite you to explore your calling. For example, I work with a physician who got into a terrible bicycle accident. He was a surgeon, and both hands got almost decapitated. And we worked on it together. What is the message? That you cannot do any surgery anymore. Because at the beginning he was depressed, he was pissed off at me for asking the question, what potentially is a message? And then he said, my father was a surgeon. I never really wanted to be a surgeon. I wanted to be a drummer and a musician. So it was kind of, the message was how to move for something that was imposed on you to what is you feel is your calling. And it doesn't matter how many more musicians are on the planet if you are, and he was called for to be a musician, not to be a surgeon. So we tend to start our lives, we kind of doing kind of what expected from us or what pays the rent. And sometimes later in life, we are looking at what gives us meaning and satisfaction. Some people, I think the younger generation, looking for that. They're feeling less stuck in paying the rent or working in technology because it makes a lot of money unless they are being called for. So the changes may take the form of transforming how you work or the way you spend your free time. So you work in the same place, but in your free time, you feed the homeless if you're being called for that, or being music, or try philosophy or meditation, etc. It may require you to shuffle your priorities and to spend more time in your calling and less time in occupation. And some changes may even require quitting or changing your job altogether. So we talk about the example. I have some other people I work with that changes once this kind of questions was asked of them, and it was kind of like revealing the true self. Recently, I talked to somebody that he identified that he going to spiritual retreat and become a travel guide was much more important for him than being a substitute teacher. Another person decided to get to his knowledge of real estate. He was a real estate broker. He became a business coach. And I talked to a barber who really remind himself with the questions that we pose here, that he liked to do animal rescue for non-profit organization. So we have here, if you go to drzur.com, drzur.com/vocation, there is a free online vocational questionnaire that doesn't judge what you write, but hopefully as you look at what you wrote, you'll say, wow, I may need to shift to focus on my vocation or to start incorporating it into my life in a significant, meaningful way. Again, the questionnaire is no right and wrong. It's yours. You don't need to share it with anybody. Is drzur.com/vocation. I wish you luck in your exploration.